Welcome to CineMyles, the show for cinephiles. I'm your host, Miles Hughes. I'm joined once again by Miss Becca Wucker. And we just got out of Blair Witch, which was a movie.
It was a movie.
It was not a very good movie.
It was not a very good movie.
So the original Blair Witch Project is basically the granddaddy of all found footage horror movies, which have become... They started as a trend and then became something more like a plague. We're both pretty diehard horror fans, I would say. And I think we can both agree that we can maybe count the good found footage movies on one hand.
Yeah.
Because the original Blair Witch Project is really effective.
Yes.
Partially due to its limitations.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very simple... It mostly plays on your imagination and some effective sound editing.
Yeah. Creep is great.
Creep is great found footage. We talked about Troll Hunter,
Troll Hunter's
Cloverfield,
awesome.
the original Blair Witch. I like parts of VHS 2. 15 years after the original Blair Witch Project, we have this new sequel from Adam Wingard, who did You're Next and The Guest. He's a really good horror director. And there's some stuff in this one that's interesting. It's not like a total train wreck, just mostly.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of little moments or little scenes or little things that happen where I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of a clever idea. Oh, that's kind of an interesting shot. But it gets drowned out in a cacophony of screaming and extreme close-ups and way too many angles.
There's way too many jump scares with like, oh, a character leaves. Oh, then a character comes back and scares the person. Like,
Well, but they never just come back. They have to come back like their face is right in the camera.
It's always a jump scare. No one ever comes back without it being a jump scare.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's just like, it goes from being scary to just like annoying after a while.
I'll give them this. At first, I really enjoyed the way they were doing the cameras. They have like little ear cameras. They have, she has her Canon.
They have like drones.
They have drones. They have a bunch of different types of cameras, which is really cool in theory. And it kind of helps explain some of the one of the main reasons I don't like found footage is sometimes I don't find it realistic that they'd be filming during certain parts.
Yeah.
But this one felt realistic they'd be filming. They had
because it's for a documentary project.
Yeah.
Like, they set it up ahead of time. Like, rather than develop the characters at the beginning, they just develop all the camera equipment they're going to be using, which is kind of interesting.
And in that, they kind of developed the characters. I will say the acting was pretty good for a horror movie. It felt very natural. I feel like I believed all of their relationships at first. When it started to get to the horror stuff,
it all went out the window. Yeah.
But naturally, all the actors worked really well together.
Yeah, they just feel like people just having conversations. There's only a small handful of lines that feel like, oh, this is a movie line, this is exposition-y or whatever.
Yeah.
But mostly it feels pretty fluid. But then once the actual horror stuff starts, that all just disappears and they just become like, oh, this is hero guy now, this is girl in distress, this is girl who screams a lot. There's like 3 girls who scream a lot.
I mean, there's 3 girls.
Yeah, and they all scream a lot.
Fair. It's nauseating to watch. It's always, the cameras are always moving. And I know that's the point of found footage, but, Troll Hunter, I know
because there's movies
20.
like Troll Hunter or like Cloverfield where it's found footage, but it still remembers to be a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it still remembers to compose its shots to a certain
Yeah.
degree and, like, present you with images that are interesting to look at. A lot of the stuff here is just...
Yeah.
It's just headache-inducing, and it's...
I'd be lying if I said I didn't have my eyes closed for a good portion of the movie.
Well, and you didn't really even miss anything, is the sad part. Like, there were a few cool scenes. The biggest surprise to me, and this is kind of a spoiler, but not really, is that you kind of get to see the Blair Witch, which is something the original didn't have. And she has a kind of creepy look.
Yeah, I feel like they almost felt forced to show her because they were like, how are we going to make this now?
Well, because otherwise...
not do something with her. Like, the audience wants to see her.
Sure. Well, and that was the big, some people might say letdown of the original, is that you never get to see her. You get, like, a suggestion of what she might look like, but you never... And here it's like, nope, she's right there. She's chasing after them.
I liked that they never showed her. And in this, it almost felt
original,
like... it almost felt like you can't do justice to what everyone's imagination was doing. You can't.
And they do try and have it both ways, because you don't get like it's not like Cloverfield where the movie stops dead to have like a really good look at her. Yeah.
The shot that you're talking about is like a very gorgeous, like, it's very distant.
Yeah, you just see her off in the distance of the woods.
But it's creepy.
Yeah,
It's very creepy.
And the entire final act takes place in the house from the original movie. And it's like, I know this all sounds like spoilers, but like nothing happens in this movie.
No, like, honestly, the thing is, they're in the house for so long. In the original, they're not in the house for a super long time.
They're in the house for like 2 minutes.
Yeah. That's what's exciting. This one, I'm like, okay, I've seen too much of this house now.
Yeah,
like,
no, you get
I know
the whole
too much about it. Like,
one, it all looks so samey. Like, there's not much interesting to the design of it.
Not like, oh, it's like a maze. It was just like, no, it's just...
It's grimy, and there's handprints everywhere, and there's like this weird text that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. They come into town because he finds this footage that indicates his sister, who was in the original Blair Witch.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of what they call a rebootquel, where it's like, it is a sequel, like there is continuity with the original, but it's also basically the same movie.
Yes.
Like, see Mad Max Fury Road, Star Wars, etc.
Yeah, so like the main character's sister was the girl who went to the house in Blair Witch.
Yeah.
And he's searching for her again. He brings his friends. They find footage on the internet that someone posted that has a picture that might look like her. It was not clear how he thought it looked like her.
No, you see the picture that he's referring to, and it's like,
it looks like an old person. It looks like a potato.
It looks more like the Blair Witch than it looks like the girl from the movie. Like, it's
not really her.
It's very flimsy evidence to go off of.
So they go to meet up with the guy who took the footage so he can take them to where the footage was, and him and his girlfriend decide they're gonna go with them, and they're kind of sketchy, like whatever people, but there's a point in it they get separated for reasons that are in the movie, and they come back together, and at one point he says something like, how long has it been since you last saw us? And she's like,
oh yeah,
she says like, just this afternoon, and he's like, no, it's been 5 days, and I was like, what? I don't believe that for 1 second. We haven't talked about this.
Well, was that in the original? I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, but wasn't there something where like... Well, there's like a weird time warp element going on, which I think is what the weird light thing near the end was supposed to be.
Oh, you mean the UFO?
The UFO?
That's what you thought it was.
That's what I thought it was. Oh my god, I was about to be really pissed if it was like,
I heard you
the whole thing is aliens.
Are you shitting me?
Are you kidding me?
The editing was rough.
It was rough, and it was clearly meant to put you on edge, like, before anything actually happens. But it's just kind of unpleasant and jarring. There's all this stuff going on.
So the idea is, essentially, for both of these movies, that the footage was found, and someone just put it together and showed it to an audience, right? But, like, the original Blair Witch, okay, there's 2, maybe 3 cameras. And so you can assume that whoever edited it probably looked at both footages and just edited it based on timeline.
Exactly.
But this one was, like... so many different cameras, including the drone that's supposed to be up a tree, like...
Oh, well, there's this whole weird side plot where the one girl goes to, like, get the drone out of the tree, but then she just kind of falls out of the tree, and then you never find out what happened to her or the drone.
No, you don't see her again, do you?
You don't see her again, you don't see the drone again.
Well, clearly the drone's footage gets picked up because it's in the movie.
I guess.
So that's what bothers me, is, like...
But yeah, like, who...
If the editing's gonna be rough like that, it almost needs to... I don't know, like, who would believe that someone would find that footage and be like, oh, let me edit this all together that we found,
and that's the inherent problem with all the found footage gimmick, is that it worked when Blair Witch Project came out, or if you want to go back even further, Cannibal Holocaust, that people actually thought was found footage, because it hadn't been done before. But in between Blair Witch Project and this, there've been like a gajillion found footage movies, and nobody buys the concept anymore. If it was somebody assembling together like the relevant footage, this movie would be 10 minutes long. But here's the thing that bugs me, because the most effective parts, I think, of the original are the parts where, like, they're in the tent and the screen is basically black and it's all the soundscape, and that's what gets you on edge, because you have no idea what it could possibly be. Here, like, you see too much.
They had a nice moment once like that.
Yeah, which felt like a callback. Yeah.
That was really nice.
But it was very brief, and there were other moments that tried to be similar, but then it almost felt like it needed to be action-packed, which is weird for a movie like this. Like, it definitely felt like, jacking everything up, probably for modern audiences and to make advantage of technology and a slightly bigger budget, obviously.
Yeah.
But it didn't have that same impact. Would you recommend this movie at all?
No. I wish I would, but because I got nauseous, I would not ever even if someone paid me to go see this movie again, I wouldn't do it.
It does get you, but all of the scares feel really cheap and not particularly earned. It's weird coming from Adam Wingard. It doesn't feel of a piece with his other 2 films.
Not necessarily. You can do found footage right, but you have to work with the time you're given. Like, you can't make something like Blair Witch now and be like, oh, it's great, because it's not. Like you said, so much has happened between then and now that if you're going to do found footage, you almost have to totally rejuvenate it. Like, it has to be like a burn
it has
to
to
the
be
ground,
fresh.
Phoenix rise from
It
the
has
ashes.
to be something. You have to bring something new to
Yeah.
the table. You can't just do the same movie over. But thank you for watching. Thank you for watching CineMyles. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Thank you for joining me, Becca.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll see you next time. Have a good night.